Hello, everyone, and welcome to Hush Up and Listen, the official podcast of Hale Hush, where we talk about the skin and the way it truly deserves to be talked about. I'm your host, Krisstan. I'm one of the educators on our team, known as Team Awesome. And for today's episode, we are looking back at the very foundation of our skincare brand. So you're going to learn more about who we are as a company, why Hale Hush exists, and what makes our approach to skincare truly different. So whether you're an esthetician or someone who's felt frustrated, reactive, or overwhelmed by skincare products that don't work for your skin, this episode is for you. And we'll also have an exclusive interview with our founder and owner, Kris Campbell. She is a wealth of knowledge. She's an amazing businesswoman and innovator. So I can't wait for you guys to listen in on that. And with that being said, let's get started. So, who is Hale Hush? Why do we exist? Well, Hale Hush is the only professional skincare line that focuses entirely on sensitive skin and skin challenges. So we help to alleviate any kind of symptoms that you deal with, from everyday sensitivity all the way to severely compromised skin. And that can include things like eczema, rosacea, autoimmune disorders, people that have undergone radiation and chemotherapy, or any kind of advanced medical treatments. And we have expanded to help beyond sensitive skin. So we are great for age management, pigmentation, anyone dealing with acne, my favorite subject because I'm the acne educator here. We also talk about scarring and even body care. So you can use our products on the body as well because we have skin all over. So we have to take care of our body, right? We are also great for all skin types and genders, and we believe that sensitive skin isn't a one-size-fits-all approach. Having sensitive skin and treating sensitive skin requires specialized care, and that is why we provide a lot of educational opportunities to professionals so that they can better understand our products. So we do offer a lot of affordable and free education out there. We offer lots of resources to our professionals so that they know how to use Hale Hush in the treatment room and how to create a customized skincare routine for their clients. And our mission here at Hale Hush is really to provide the highest quality skincare for extremely sensitive and health challenged skin, no matter where your sensitivity falls on the spectrum. And our approach to skincare is 2 words: barrier first. And when I was a newer esthetician, I've obviously evolved since then. I used to think things were just kind of like a cookie cutter type way to treat things. So acne, salicylic acid, glycolic acid, benzoyl peroxide, you think of those ingredients first, but it's when I learned about Hale Hush that I really learned about the skin barrier and why it's so important. So an unhealthy skin barrier can lead to other skin conditions and issues like aging, dullness, dryness, hyperpigmentation, acne, and just general damage and irritation to the skin. And so looking back, I just couldn't believe that the answer to almost all of the skin conditions out there is to treat that skin barrier. And so with Hale Hush, I grew into a better esthetician because once I truly started creating a healthy barrier for my clients, that's when they started getting results. And so here at Hale Hush, we strategically use botanicals, peptides, antioxidants, and other skin supportive actives to soothe any kind of discomfort and improve skin health over time. Because when you focus on the skin barrier first, a lot of times those skin conditions and issues that people might experience will heal a lot faster. And every product that we have is created specifically to calm inflammation and support barrier repair. So that is why at Hale Hush, our products work, and it really is helpful for sensitive or health challenged skin. And the other thing that I love about our brand, our company, is that we are free of any negatives. So if you've taken any of our product knowledge classes, you might already know this, but we are free of gluten, sulfates, parabens, artificial fragrances, colors, dyes. We don't contain any silicones or dimethicones, and we do not contain any known irritants. We also have vegan products available and are Leaping Bunny certified, so we do not test on animals with our products. And this is so near and dear to my heart because I am a huge animal lover. I love animals. And our products are derm tested to ensure suitability and efficacy. So if this all sounds like something you love, you need to be using Hale Hush because we kind of hit the marks on a lot of things there. Now, I know you guys have probably been waiting for this part of the podcast, so I'm going to segue this into our guest, Kris Campbell herself. She is the owner and founder of Hale Hush. She is our fearless leader, and she is a licensed esthetician as well. She has degrees in supply chain management as well as retail merchandising, and she has experience as a special projects manager and director of sales. Like, literally, what can't this woman do? So please welcome Kris.
Krisstan, for having me.
Yeah, of course.
On the Hale Hush podcast. That was very nice of you. Thank you.
What better way to start, right?
That's right.
So for those meeting you for the first time, who are you and what led you into the skincare industry?
Well, I did not plan on being here. Like Krisstan said, I have a degree in supply chain management, sales, merchandising, things. And years ago, I wanted to do a career change. I went some friends owned supply stores. They said you should do that. And I noticed in Arizona there were none for skincare. So, well, that's a great market I should hit up. Figured I better go to school, learn something about it. Went to school, and by the time I got out of school, it was not the time to really get started of putting money out to start a business, So I ended up going to work for a lab here in town and met Murag Curran, who also worked there. She was an esthetician, and she wrote the book on oncology aesthetics, if anybody's familiar with that. Started training around the world, created a product line. I bought it from her with some partners, and then everybody just thought we were for sick people. So about 10 years ago, a little over 10 years ago, I decided, well, I'm sick of having partners, and I don't want to just be in oncology skincare. I see the industry changing a little bit. Saw people being more sensitive or sensitized, and if we had products that could work on oncology clients, why couldn't they work on things like rosacea or eczema or psoriasis or sensitivity? So I bought my partners out, and the rest is history. Hale Hush came along, and that's where we've been going. I mean, our roots are still in oncology aesthetics, but sensitive skin is our specialty.
And I think it's so cool that you've had a relationship with Murag for such a long time. How many years has it been now, would you say?
20 plus years.
Wow, that's awesome,
Yeah.
Actually. Yeah,
Yep.
she is such a wealth of knowledge. So if anyone is listening, I highly recommend looking into Murag also. So you found skincare along the way. I guess initially you really didn't expect to kind of be here. Yeah.
Nope. Never thought I'd own a brand. I go back to my high school reunions and they're like, "You're doing what?" I was the biggest tomboy. Did not care about those things. And so my friends are like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I own a skincare company." They're like, they just laugh. They think I'm joking. I'm like, No, not really.
That's amazing. It's really cool just where life leads you. And so you saw the problem of sensitive skin. You saw rosacea, eczema. These were skin conditions that needed some assistance, some support. So was there anything you dealt with just as an individual for sensitive skin?
Well, I had endometriosis since I was 20. I still have a lot of scar tissue and stuff left, but I did a lot of treatments along the way to keep it at bay, which threw me in menopause earlier at different times, maybe for periods of time, and it probably got me into menopause earlier than most people. So that obviously affected my skin at an earlier age, so sensitivity with that. Also, I had a horrible reaction when I was in aesthetic school to a Jesner peel. Jesners are great for most people. I tried one without resorcinol and was fine. And then I learned the hard way when I did one with resorcinol that I had a violent reaction. So I cannot do any type of chemical peels, solution peels, anything like that anymore. So that's why actually our Bedazzle is in a gel base. It works much better. It doesn't penetrate as fast for people that have more sensitive skin. The gel goes at a different rate into the skin. So those are my two skin sensitivities that I've had personally.
And I think it's safe to say that at least once in someone's lifetime, someone will experience some sort of sensitivity if they're not already disposed to having sensitive skin.
Reactions from chicken pox or rashes or all different kinds of things, that is a sensitivity that you're having at that time. So sensitivities can be long term or short term.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think that's the beauty of Hale Hush is it's really for everyone. So I know you talked about how you started off with oncology, but why did you specifically choose to stay with oncology and sensitive skin? I mean, everyone in the industry focuses on acne, age management, pigmentation. So why oncology and sensitive skin?
Well, I think learning oncology training and taking those type of trainings really helps you understand when you're looking at sensitivities that every client is different. While you could have 3 women with breast cancer on the same medications, because of their physiology, each one of them, they're all different. They may have different reactions. So really understanding that, but that's where we learned and that's where we started. So I'm not going to discard that because that teaches us how to work on that ultra sensitive client. But then more and more people are sensitive. I like being in the niche that we're in. We can still treat all ages, most ages from preteen to, 90 years old. We could treat all of those with the buzzwords and stuff people are looking for. Most brands are looking for that quick fix, more aggressive treatment, which is wonderful for people that have a normal barrier. But we're seeing more and more people that don't have that normal barrier. And that's really where Hale and Hush comes into play. And we can work well with you using a more aggressive line because you're going to need to rebuild that barrier between those treatments.
Mhm. Yeah, and I think lately skin barrier is such a big topic. I feel like once 2026 kind of hit, it's just all about the skin barrier, but I feel like Caitlin Hush has really been the foundation of all of that in the industry, in my opinion. That's one of our focuses. And I know you talk about this in some of our flyers, sometimes in our webinars as well, but where did the name Hale and Hush really come from? And what does it represent for you, especially our logo, the leaf and the feather?
Well, one of my mentors in the industry obviously is Marag. The other one is Linda Walker, who used to own the lab that I worked at here in Arizona. And when I was trying to make the choice to buy my partners out, and I wanted to get rid of the name Techniche, which is what the oncology line was called, I was looking for something different. And actually, her daughter Darcy helped me come up with this. Hale means strong, hardy, and healthy. That is what we want our skin to be. And if you look on the label, it's an oak leaf, which the oak is a very, very strong tree. Then you go with the feather, which obviously is for sensitive and light and soft touch. But then Hush is, really calming and doing things like that. So you still want to create that strong barrier that we want to, but we have to do it in a lighter touch way. Kind of that's how I would explain it. So it kind of goes together, and everybody's going to start seeing that we're doing a few changes with our leaf and our logo too, as we're kind of removing the sensitive skin specialist slowly because we've kind of established that for ourselves because we can work on so many different skin types and skin conditions and ages. We've kind of changed our leaf to a softer green, a little bit more spa-like, and removing that sensitive skin specialist. We're still that, but we're going to be so much more and come up with a little bit different branding after 10 years.
Great. I mean, 10 years though, and we just celebrated our 10-year anniversary, which is awesome.
Well, how long have you been
Congratulations.
with us, Kristen?
I think it's somewhere around 3 years now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at that. Yeah, look at that. You're a big part of the history.
Yeah. I'm very grateful to be part of Team Awesome. What would you say about Team Awesome? I know that we don't have reps in the company,
Nope.
and People always come up to me and they're like, "Oh, are you a rep? Do you have any reps?" And I'm just like, "No, I'm an educator." And I think it's amazing the kind of team that we have where everyone just kind of specializes in different things. So, could you talk more about the team for a little bit?
So the team is really great because I think, sometimes you go to a trade show and everybody in the booth is dressed the same, looks the same, seems like the same personality. My team is all over the board, and that's in a good way. I say that. They all specialize in different things. They're all oncology trained because that's our base. I want them to understand what that most sensitive skin and how to treat something like that is, even if they never touch an oncology client. I wanted them to understand that. Which you, as my acne expert in the group, you realize that because that barrier's got to be strong and healthy as you're trying to work on acne. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I have specialists that work with menopause. We've got specialists that do men's facials, that do different devices and things we do that are more holistic. I mean, I've got people all over the board on our team, and they're so good, and they collaborate together, which is wonderful. And they're all helpful. I mean, you guys, we joked about my saying last year, WWKD, what would Kris do? I guess that could apply to you too, Kristen. Since our Chris's are spelled very similar.
Yeah.
Um, but I want them to think about what would Kris do, and they do. I mean, they think about how we can help, how we can give back, and they're all phenomenal about that as well, giving back to their communities, helping their clients, helping my clients, and I just think we have a really strong team, and I love each and every one of you guys, and I'm so glad I have all of you guys on my team.
Oh, thank you, Kris. And, we really appreciate you leading us in this industry. I think you are such a wealth of knowledge. And just to create a brand like this that can help so many people, I think that really speaks a lot about yourself. And going back to the origin of Hale Hush, where you came up with that name, I think that it's such a unique name and the meaning behind the logo and the brand entirely. I think since becoming an educator and using our products, it's really opened my eyes to this whole level of skincare. Let's take acne, for example. We think that we need to constantly exfoliate, we need to constantly be doing so many different things for acne when really it just comes down to the skin barrier. And what do you think the skincare industry often gets wrong about sensitive skin? Any kind of misconceptions that you could break down for us?
I think the retail consumer at the grocery stores, Targets, and things like that, when they see, sensitive skin products, they're very, it's water, dimethicone, silicones, fragrant. Like there's no actives in there. So I think I kind of say use the words dumbed down a little bit. So they're not getting those anti-aging or specific actives that they need. And I think sometimes people think in the professional industry that you can't use those actives. But we've proved them wrong. We have forms of vitamin C that you can use on sensitive skin. We use retinaldehyde or bakuchiol for vitamin A forms. We can use mandelic just like the big boys can. But we use other ingredients that work well with those actives so that we don't hurt the barrier. That we're still repairing the barrier, hydrating and reducing inflammation, all while giving people the anti-aging benefits or treatment benefits for, say, acne and things like that they're looking for.
Briefly, can you explain what an active ingredient is? I know you have an ingredient class, which is awesome that you offer that for professionals, but I feel like active ingredients gets thrown around a lot. So I'd love for you to kind of explain that really briefly to our listeners.
Active ingredients are things that are going to make some type of change. Or active ingredient would be an antioxidant or a retinaldehyde or things. Stuff like dimethicones and xanthan gum. A lot of those are fillers, or they're making something a sulfate or making something lather. They're not necessarily active. They're creating the base of the product or the preservative of the product. Active is more of like an antioxidant or like an AHA and things like that.
I feel like from my experience, a lot of company owners and founders are just really behind the scenes. They're not very involved, it seems, with their formulations and understanding of ingredients. So I just want to say kudos to you.
Well, I don't know at all, but I mean, I've always worked with chemists, whether I work, with the other lab that I used to work for that still makes some of our products, or my new chemist that's been doing a lot of our new things, Vince. Um, I'm not in there mixing stuff up, which is a misconception. I think a lot of people think their brand owners are in there mixing it themselves. Yeah, there's probably some, but they all don't do that. I mean, I tell Vince, this is what I want. This is what I don't want. This is what it has to do. This is what it can't do. And then, we go back and forth. He's like, well, here's some glossies. Could it do this? I'm like, yeah, but we have to consider this because we've got people with psoriasis or eczema. And, I learn a lot from him. And sometimes I actually throw ingredients back to him. And it's funny because we get on the same page and I'm like, here's a glossy on a new ingredient I found for this. We should add this. He's like, oh, I already pulled that for you. Like, it's just kind of funny. We think a lot alike. So,
That's good.
but yeah, I mean, I'm not creating, but I do have input in it and what I like and what I don't like and what I want and what I don't want.
I think that's very important when creating a product, and that kind of leads me to my next question is, what is your core philosophy when it comes to creating your products? And you connect with Vince and you guys just kind of have the same mindset about things. What would that be?
Well, everything new we're creating vegan. I don't like the dimethicones and silicones in our products specifically. We're not using sulfates. I have to make sure everything's going to be gluten free. Are we using, if we're using shea butter, which most people don't consider this, it doesn't say on an inky or your ingredient deck on your product whether that shea butter is refined, which is more non-comedogenic, versus something that, isn't. So, really understanding that those are the type of ingredients I want that are going to be the best on the skin and that are not going to cause those type of reactions. Because I wanted Mandelic serum. Everybody had one. Why couldn't we have one? I think we created a great one. And there's other ingredients that are still going to be beneficial.
Yes, that's my favorite ingredient and product of all time is rare Mandelic serum. And probably Clarify Wash. I don't know. Those two are always fighting for my top one favorite products ever. But we don't sell to the public. Why is it important for you to build Hale Hush as a professional only line and only offer to professionals?
I think it's important when we talk again about sensitive skin and understanding how each person is different. I mean, you should understand this with acne. There's different types of acne and different causes and what can cause it. You can't treat every type of acne exactly the same. You can't treat every type of rosacea exactly the same. So to say this is for rosacea or whatever, we really want, and you should know this, as all my educators do on Team Awesome, I say put your Sherlock Holmes hat on and figure out why they're sensitive or sensitized. If I just throw a product online, how am I going to figure that out with those clients? We don't have a ton of returns. It's very rare. I can't say nobody will ever have a reaction to something, but I don't think our clients have as much as that because that esthetician or skincare professional is trying to find the right product for that particular person's sensitive or sensitized skin versus just saying, this is a sensitive skin product, use this wash. Well, somebody may need Clarify Wash. Somebody may need Quiet Wash. How are they going to pick the right moisturizer? They're all great for sensitive skin, but which one are you going to pick? So I do like that fact, and we don't sell to the public. If I find it on eBay or something like that, I buy it back and throw it in the trash. Same thing for Poshmark or Mercari, or on those buy-sell groups that are on the professional Facebook and those type of things. Because I want it to come from professional. I don't want you guys buying stuff that it could be expired. You don't know what you're buying on those also.
Yeah. And even us on the team, we'll let you know if there's something out there on Facebook Marketplace.
Oh yeah, my clients do that. I get little messenger. They're like, "Hey, Kris, here's a screenshot." I'm like, "Okay, let me buy it back." But and then I'll have people that I buy it back from, say off of Mercari or Poshmark, and they're like, "Did you just buy your own product back?" Because I'm shipping it back to Hale Hush. They go, "You just paid tax and retail price." I said, "Yeah," and they're like, "What are you going to do with it?" I'm like, "Throw it in the trash." Because it's not supposed to be on there. Now, you will find us online from people, but those are from estheticians that have been trained by us that buy a certain amount a quarter, which some other brands do the same thing if they allow their sales online, if they don't sell direct to the public. They also have to all be through our product knowledge training. So I got to have somewhere for them to get it because I hate to admit it, not every esthetician is a great retailer. So I get calls every day. Where can I get this? Or I moved, or I got to do this. I got to have somewhere for them to get it. So yes, if you want it online, you have to sign our internet sales agreement. But at this point, while I could make a lot more money selling retail to the public, I like keeping it with the esthetician because I could just see if I just said sensitive skin, I think I'd have a lot of returns because people wouldn't pick the right products if they were looking for it online without the help of the esthetician.
Yeah, I agree, and I've shared this recently is that estheticians are really there to take out that guesswork for a lot
Mhm.
of the public out there, for a lot of those clients. So I think that's one of the reasons why I put Hale and Hush into my treatment room is because we only sell to professionals. Because it is very hard also as an esthetician where you're trying to sell products, but someone else can just get it from Amazon. So, not only that, but you're helping support small businesses by having a consumer purchase directly from a professional. So, I want to applaud you for that. And what do you hope estheticians feel when they work with Hale and Hush?
I want them to feel part of our team. I mean, we're out there to help them. They support us, through sales and things, but I think I have the best clients, as we call them. If anybody doesn't know, the Hushies. I never thought I'd have some little term that kind of sounds like the Swifties from Taylor Swift. It's not really me while I love music, but I mean, they are loyal and they support each other and they give back in this world. They give back in their communities. If they need supporting each other, I see them reach out to each other, like through our Facebook group, helping each other and being supportive, like, hey, way to go, great results. How did you do that? And like, I just think that is, so incredible. So, and my distributors, they're part of my team too. We are all working together to grow in this industry, whether it's me growing as a brand or them growing as professionals. So we have to think we're all not against each other. Let's work together and make this movement of skincare keep growing strong, especially professional skincare.
I have to say, our Facebook group is one of my favorite groups because there's no cattiness in there. Everyone really is there to help each other, like you said. Like, I'm in some other groups where it's just almost chaos. There's just so many different conversations and people sort of attacking each other when we're supposed to be a community of people helping each other grow. And I have to say that our group, if you haven't joined it yet, is one of the most supportive groups out there. Even on Instagram, I feel like even our comments are just always so positive and supportive. So we really do have such a great community of professionals with
I agree.
us. And two more questions. What excites you most about where the company is headed? I know a lot of stuff, but I want you to kind of
I'm
tell
not going to
people.
spill all the beans. So, but we have a lot of new things coming out, things that we're missing in our line. I'm never going to be like one of those larger companies is out there with 100 SKUs, but there's a few things that we're missing. I'm not going to be bringing in a bunch of peels and things like that because I like having a peel or a light peel and an enzyme, those two options. But there's some other things in the line that I want to bring in. We're collaborating on coming up with more protocols for everybody, with some different devices and things. Way to go. And as we bring in these new products, that gives us even more opportunity to create even more protocols, more options to use a lot of the same products, just different ways. By incorporating this one other product in your basic facial, it can help you do this or that. So I do like that. I like that we're headed in kind of the change away from sensitive skin specialists. We're beyond sensitive skin. We're always going to stick there. That's going to be I'm not going to forget that. But we're going to be, so many people can use us. I know one of our distributors, Med Spa, they're talking about they have their preteen grandkids using it all the way up, the grandparents. So it can be used for different age groups and things like that.
Yeah, and going back to the Facebook group, people post these amazing before and afters there that aren't even really about sensitive skin. I've seen some
Mm-hmm.
really good ones on there for age management, improving fine lines, wrinkles, pigmentation. So I think that we have a lot to offer, and I'm so excited for what's to come.
Nope. Yeah, lots of secrets. So everybody just needs to
Yes.
stay tuned. We're just launching a new product tomorrow. that everybody's going to see. We've already announced it today on another webinar called Hydra Melon. It's a great face, neck, and décolleté cream. It is absolutely the bomb. And yeah, we've got more coming along the way.
Yep, I love the consistency of it, and I actually had my mom test it out while she was visiting, and she absolutely loved and raved about it. So excited for people to get their hands on that. And last question, kind of a loaded question. What impact do you ultimately hope Hale Hush has on the industry?
Well, not to sound conceited, but I have seen that we've had an impact because I see other lines. I'm really looking, and you kind of mentioned this in the beginning about barrier and things like that. I think they all had something for sensitive skin, but I think they've seen how much Hale and Hush has grown over the last several years. That they're like, oh, maybe we should think a little bit more into that sensitive skin category because Hale and Hush is killing it. And that's the kind of thing I like. See, yeah, they say copying is like the most the coolest form of flattery or something. Whatever that saying
Yes,
is, I can't
yeah.
think of what the saying is. But you see a lot of people doing some things that Hale and Hush has already been doing for a couple years, whether it's certain types of webinars, certain types of training, certain things we brought to the industry. So I think it's really cool that people are noticing us for even not just sensitive skin. The awards they're winning aren't just for sensitive skin products. They're like, maybe best cleanser or best moisturizer. Like, how are we up there with the big dogs without being just that sensitive category? So I think that, we have made an impact in the industry, and I think we're going to continue to make, a bigger impact as we continue to grow and add more products and protocols and, have the Hushy Nation grow.
Hushy Nation. I love that so much. I'm actually wearing my Hushy shirt right now. Uh, but, thank you, Kris, for taking the time to let us get to know more about you and Hale and Hush, because I feel like these are questions that don't get talked about in our classes. This is a great one-on-one with you to really learn more about the company. Do you have any last words before we start finishing up?
No, but I just wanted to say I'm really excited about this podcast. I think it's going to bring Hale and Hush to even more people in different ways because everybody listens in different ways, whether it's reading emails, watching a webinar, things like that. I think podcasts are on the rise. Thank you for this suggestion, Krisstan.
You're welcome.
And thank your husband for the title, Hush Up and Listen. I was like, sent me the titles, and she said, here's some titles. This is the one my husband, that's the one I like. I do like that. Hush Up and Listen, and listen to what Hale and Hush has to say.
No, but really, I think that it fits our company so well with the direction that it's headed. And when he said it, it just blurted out of his mouth. Like, he didn't even have 2 minutes to think about it. He was like, what about Hush Up and Listen? And I was like, no, they're not gonna go with that. And I was like, I'll add that anyway, though. And then it ended up being the most liked one, and I was like, whatever. We'll give him the credit where it's due. So.
Nope. I'm excited. I think this is going to be a great option for people too to listen on their car ride home. Listen when they're in the treatment room and don't have a computer up or something like that to watch a webinar. So I think you have a lot of things planned with this, so I think it's only going to grow. So I'm excited to see all the new episodes that are coming on down the line.
Yes, we have a lot planned. So thank you, Kris.
Thank you.
You're a busy woman, so I appreciate you taking the time out of your day. And we'll talk soon.
Okay, well, take care. Bye, everybody.
I hope you guys enjoyed that interview and got to know a little bit more about us and kind of where we started. And I want to talk about what should you expect from our podcast. Well, look out for one episode each month. Each episode will come out on the last Monday of each month at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Look out for more guests. We have a lot of guests in mind that we want to bring onto the podcast, and we want to bring in industry leaders and innovators on here to share some of their thoughts and talk about certain topics with you guys. So some of the things that we plan to talk about are obviously sensitive skin, but we also want to talk about business, how you can build your business using Hale Hush. We want to talk about community. We want to share real stories about how Hale Hush has truly changed people's lives and their skin. And I just want to give you a little sneak peek at what we have for February and March. So for February, we're going to be talking about barrier love because it's the month of love. So we're going to be talking about the signs of keeping skin calm and protected. We'll be talking about what our skin barrier is, top barrier disruptors, and we're going to highlight ingredients that help to calm down the skin and protect that skin barrier. We're also going to dive into some of our favorite Hale Hush products to help with the skin barrier, which is probably all of them, honestly. And what is sensitive skin? That is the topic for March. So we're going to talk about the difference between sensitive versus sensitized skin. We'll also dive into some immune triggers, barrier impairment issues, and how Hale Hush can benefit sensitive skin and beyond. And guys, this is just the surface of topics and categories that we can talk about in the skincare industry. So I can't wait for the podcast to evolve and grow and to bring on experts into this space. So thank you guys so much for listening. So if you are new here, I'm going to briefly talk about where you can find us other than the podcast. I'm assuming you know about the podcast because of our Instagram or our Facebook group. You probably already follow us. But if you are a professional and have not signed up with us, creating an account with us is absolutely free as long as you have a license. And students are welcome to create an account as well. You just won't have access to any of our professional treatments until you graduate. And professionals, please also check out our website, www.haleandhush.com. The and in Hale Hush is spelled out, so it is A-N-D. And that is your hub for ordering products, tools, marketing materials, grabbing resources, checking out what classes that we have going on. And I always tell people, please check out the resources tab on our website. That section just has so much information in there that's literally free. It's a gold mine in there. So if you're a nerd like me, you love studying, that's going to be a great section for you to explore. Please just take 10-15 minutes out of your day to check out what we have on there. Again, our education tab is going to have all of the classes and events that you can sign up for. And it's the beginning of 2026, so we're doing the trade shows all over again this year. We hope that you guys attend these. I used to be a very shy person, and I still kind of am, but if you are scared to attend these trade shows, I am urging you, if I can do it, you can do it too, because these trade shows are great networking events. They're great ways to attend in-person classes, and you get to meet the brands that you want to bring into your business. And so I love doing these events. I love being at the booth. I love talking to everybody. It's tiring at the end of the day, but it is very fulfilling because I get to meet a lot of you that I talk to online, and you get to see all of us in person. We're all scattered around the country, and so it's a great opportunity for us to get to know the people that are supporting Hale Hush in person. So I just want to say, attend a trade show at least once in your esthetician career, okay? And our product knowledge class is the best place to start if you're a professional so that you can get a better understanding of our products and ingredients that we use. And if you have any questions at all, our customer support team is truly unmatched. They are the best out there. Please email them if you have any concerns or questions at support@haleandhush.com. Again, the and is spelled out. And please follow our socials. We've added them to the description in the bio so you can directly go there and follow us. We post a lot of updates on our socials, what's going on with the company, and we do a lot of product highlights as well as ingredient highlights. And also, as you heard in the interview with Kris, we do have a professional-only Facebook group called Hale Hush Pros. That is a great space to share before and afters, talk to other professionals, ask us questions, and it's truly a safe space. We've curated it that way where there's no bullying. It's just a great community community where we get to talk to other people and learn from other people in a positive way. And that's it for socials. So thank you guys. We are nearing the end of this podcast. I appreciate you guys listening to this introductory episode of Hush Up and Listen. I hope today helped you understand a little bit more about us, what we do in the skincare industry, and why sensitive skin truly matters. We're going to be diving into more topics soon, I promise you guys. Please make sure you followed us on here, on our socials, subscribe to our YouTube, join the Facebook group, because we have a lot planned for 2026. And if you got something valuable from today, go ahead and please share this with a friend or a colleague that you think would benefit from using Hale Hush in their treatment room, or someone who could benefit from using Hale Hush at home. And with that, I'll see you guys later in the next episode, Hushies. Bye and be well.